like I get questions and comments all the time about things that I've thrifted and like, how do you find such good things at the thrift? My thrift stores suck. You can only find those things because you live in an area with good thrifts. Or people will say like, every time I go thrifting, my friend finds the best stuff and I can't find anything in the same thrift store. I don't understand how she does it, blah, blah, blah. This is your complete guide to thrifting tips that you might not think of initially. And to some extent, I feel like the tips I wrote down kind of get better as we go, so make sure you watch the whole video. Also, if you're thinking, oh my god, Phoebe, your skin looks so good, thank you. And that is because this video is sponsored by Typology, so let's cut back to me doing my skincare routine here in Greece, and I'll show you exactly what I've been doing for my skincare lately. I've got salty hair pulled back in a bun, and I'm about to do my skincare. I'm feeling a little bit dry and burnt, and something I love doing when I'm on vacation is doing my skincare and makeup outside, just using like a little mirror like this. I feel like when you have a view this good, you have to soak up as much time with it as you can and not just hide out in the bathroom. And it just feels very luxurious to do a good skincare routine on vacation outside. And this video is actually sponsored by Typology, so thank you so much to them for sponsoring. They have made this vacation feel even more luxurious than it actually already is. Good skincare just feels fancy and luxurious and amazing. So I'll show you guys my daily skincare routine that I've been doing. I'll zoom you in a little bit. I've been starting with their Radiance Serum, just a couple drops. Typology is vegan and cruelty-free, and if you guys know me, you know I was vegan for 2 years. It's something that's still really important to me where I can, is to choose cruelty-free products. And all of their products are formulated and manufactured in France, and they aim to only keep the absolute essentials in their products. So their formulas are very minimalist and made with over 80% ingredients of natural origin. Next, I'm using their hydrating serum. Same thing, just a few drops of this. Everything also comes in recycled and recyclable containers and packaging. And not only that, but the packaging is really beautiful. And another thing you might know about me is that I majored in graphic design. I was graphic designer for a while. So pretty packaging is really important to me, and these just look really beautiful sitting on my vanity. Next, I'm just taking their face moisturizer. So a little pea or 2p sized amount in my hand. They're also PETA and B Corp certified, which I love. And what I'm really excited to show you is their tinted trio. So these are products that are tinted, but they're still skincare. So they give you that immediate visual effect while also having ingredients that give you that long-term benefit that skincare gives. So first, going in with their tinted serum. Again, this isn't a foundation, this is just a tinted skincare product, but I hate foundation anyway. I never wear it, so this is perfect for when you want that little tint and that little bit of immediate visual effect without feeling like you're covering your skin and makeup. This product has vitamin C, squalane, and aloe vera. And the other thing I like personally about tinted products is that you can kind of choose your shade a little bit differently than you choose a foundation shade. For example, I like to choose a shade that is the tiniest bit darker than my skin tone because I can give myself that little bronze and glow. And because it's just a tinted skincare product, it is very forgiving. It just looks like you have a nice glow. Next, I'm taking the concealer. This has caffeine and niacinamide, so it has those long-term active ingredients that reduce puffiness in your eyes, and it reduces your dark circles both instantly like a concealer and over time like a skincare product. So I just put this anywhere I put normal concealer. I tend to put it around my eyes, a couple dots around my nose, and then just anywhere I might have some redness or little breakouts. And lastly, in the tinted trio, we have their lip oil, their tinted lip oil. This comes in a lot of different beautiful colors. I'm using the color Ruby Red. This product has vitamin E, squalane, and jojoba oil, so it nourishes your lips while leaving a subtle tint instantly. So I like to put this obviously on my lips, but I'm actually first gonna put some on my cheeks just because I am a big fan of using lip products on the cheeks as blush, and a little bit on the nose and on my lips. There is my little skincare routine I've been doing. The last thing I want to show you is this purifying mask that I've been using a couple times a week at night. It has stinging nettle, green clay, and pine charcoal, and it works to reduce excess sebum and target imperfections. And if you guys click the link in my description, you can actually receive this product for free, the purifying mask, with your purchase of $40 or more via the Typology website. Thank you so much again to Typology for sponsoring this video, and I'll show you guys another little view of my skincare in different lighting. Okay, thrifting tip number 1, or things you might be doing wrong. Why you suck at thrifting, even though you have good taste. One reason might be that you're skipping sections. Are you taking the time to look through the men's section, through the PJ section, through the kids section? And this isn't because I necessarily think that some of the best things I've thrifted have been PJs, or have been men's clothing, or have been for a child that I'm thrifting for. But oftentimes the thing that you're looking for and the thing that you have your eye out for could very well be sitting in a different section than you think it would be. Maybe your favorite fitting tee is an extra large boys gray t-shirt. If you're looking for jeans and you're a woman, you might find a pair in the men's section. And this might be because you're looking for a crisp straight leg jean and a men's pair fits really well on you. A men's old vintage pair might fit really well. That is totally possible, but it is also very possible that if you're looking for that kind of jean, the thrift store has taken a women's straight leg crisp denim pair and hung it in the men's section because it's not your classic like fitted hourglass, bigger in the hips, tight, elastic, more stretchy denim that a lot of people working in the thrift store might assume is what makes it a women's jean. So just don't automatically overlook and skip past any section in the thrift. You just never ever know what you can find. Another thing that you might be doing wrong when you're thrifting is that you're not imagining what a piece could be. And usually I give almost opposite advice. When I talk about shopping in general, especially shopping for new things, I usually say if you're trying it on in the change room and you're thinking, I don't know if I like it, but it could be good if I had my makeup done. It could be styled a little bit better. It could look cool when I have my hair done. It's a no, because there's a lot at stake. You're contributing to the production of a new piece and spending probably a lot more money since it is something new. So there's just more at stake, and I think that you need to be really scrutinizing when you're shopping in general. But with thrifting, I think that you can be a lot more lenient with this and kind of take a chance on more pieces and have the fun of taking home pieces that you're not totally sure about but think could be styled really well. But even aside from that, you also, I think, should keep in mind what a piece could be like if you just take a simple pair of scissors to it and crop it, or stretch out the neckline and rip a couple seams but have it be a wider neck, maybe off the shoulder top. Or you find a pair of pants that fit really well, but the button is a cheap, shiny rose gold, and you think if I just replace this button, then this pair would be perfect. Those are things that when you're shopping for something new, it's a little bit too high stakes to say, I'm gonna take this home and I'm gonna cut it up and it'll look good. But with thrifting, you can have so much fun with that. And a couple of my favorite pieces I've thrifted recently are pieces that I've taken a pair of scissors to. Another thing that might be limiting you when you're thrifting or stifling you, discouraging you, is that you're looking for brands that you like new. Don't think of a thrift store as somewhere where you can go to get a better deal on something that you would like to buy new but is expensive. Think of it as an opportunity to find something that no one else has, or something that you never would have found if you weren't at this thrift store in this particular week. Something that you could never have obtained without taking the time to scour random thrift stores. Don't go in there looking for a Ghani top. 99% of the time, you're gonna be disappointed and you're gonna feel like you're not doing it right, or you just can't ever find what you're looking for. Another reason you might not be thrifting to your fullest potential is that you're avoiding thrift stores that are just giant messes and low rated on Google reviews. If a thrift store has like a 1-star rating, I think that is all the more reason that you should go to it for several reasons. Curated thrift and vintage stores can be great, but you can find so many gems in messy, low-rated thrift stores that normal people on Google reviews have hated on. You're not a normal person. You are someone who loves fashion and loves playing with things and has an eye for uniquely cool pieces that can be styled cool, that the normal patron going to a thrift store and leaving a review on Google might not have. These thrift stores are the ones that are not marked up, they aren't picked over, and they've got gems hiding all over them. Curated stores are only good if they happen to align pretty closely with your personal style and what you like, and even more so than a curated thrift or vintage store. I usually hate a consignment store because these are also mostly just things that are 5 to 10 years old. A lot of times they have a rule that if you want to sell at a consignment store, it can't be more than 5 years old. So these are things that are like, you know, valued highly, designer pieces that are expensive at the mall or whatever, and are being resold for still like 45 bucks. And again, they're not old enough to be unique or interesting to people like us who value unique and interesting and old, and that's what we like about thrifting. This all comes down to personal preference. You might love the kinds of stores I said I hated and hate the kind of stores I said I loved, but that's the thing with curated stores, is it is all down to personal preference. Whereas a giant awful mess of a warehouse could still have gems hiding in there for anyone with any taste, and they usually cost as much as a gumball. Another reason you might not be thrifting to your fullest potential is that you're not good at isolating pieces from their environment and therefore seeing their true potential. An easy little mental exercise I have given for this is to ask yourself 2 questions when you can't decide if you like a piece or not. If you found this piece in a store whose style you don't usually align with, for this purpose, let's just say Walmart. Let's just say you don't usually like the clothes that they carry at Walmart. They don't reflect your personal style. If you saw this piece sitting in a Walmart, would it kind of catch your eye, and would you point to it and be like, that's actually kind of cool. That's interesting that it's here. Or like, I don't usually like things here, but that's actually kind of cool. And for this exercise, don't think in terms of like, pieces from Walmart aren't usually well made and they don't usually have the best labor practices. Don't think about that. Just in your little fantasy land, think of this in terms of personal style. Is this something that would stand out to me, even if it were presented in a context that doesn't usually align with my personal style? And on the other side of the coin, if you find something at an op shop and you're struggling to figure out whether you actually love it or not, you can ask yourself, if this was in my favorite clothing store or my favorite online brand or my favorite designer's Instagram page, would I still want it? Or is it just the best thing in this thrift store? In other words, do I just like this piece because my standards are lower when I'm thrifting, or is it a piece that would catch my eye and stand out to me anywhere? And with this second question, there are even things that I think asking yourself this could make you like even better. When we have a favorite brand or designer and we have come to really respect their sense of fashion and their vision as a whole, a piece that they make might be extra appealing because it already has that stamp of approval from that person or designer or brand that we look up to. So sometimes if we're drawn to a piece at a thrift store and we hold it up and we kind of like it, but we think it's kind of weird, we don't really know. If you imagine that that piece was posted on the Instagram page of your favorite brand or was included in the latest drop of your favorite small, cool indie fashion brand, would that stamp of approval seal the deal in you loving the piece? Would you like it if you already knew that that person or brand or designer you look up to loved it or even designed it themselves? And if that stamp of approval really would seal the deal for you loving that piece, you can kind of ask yourself why that is. Why can't I just be that confident in a piece without that external validation? Daydreaming about pieces and imagining them in different contexts like this can give you a lot more clarity about whether they align with your personal style than you may be able to get just staring at it in its current thrift store environment. Another thing you might be doing kind of wrong is judging clothing based on how it looks hung up on a hanger rather than how it could look on a body. Not giving a piece a chance and rejecting it before you even know what it could look like on your body. There have been several tops that I've loved that I've gotten from a thrift store that I only got because I saw a small glimmer of hope and made the effort to actually try them on in the change room. There are things that if I couldn't try on, I would just pass up because I would assume that they wouldn't be good, but are things that I had just a little premonition that maybe they could work. And just a lot of these I try on and they're absolutely terrible, but there have been a fair few where where on the hanger they look like an old lady shirt that have looked really cool once I've actually put them on my body. And this is something that I feel like, A, you need to train your eye to do, to notice the difference between something that's just plain not gonna work versus something that, because of its shape, looks drab on a hanger but could look really good on bod. But the other thing you can do, and something that will start to train your eye more, is to just try things on more. Grab everything that sparks your interest even just a little bit. Don't pare down before you go to the change room. Go to the change room with a big pile, and I feel like the things that work really often surprise me. Piggybacking off of that last tip, the other thing that you might be doing wrong is not embracing the ugly. Ugly is not always bad. Ugly is often very cool, especially in fashion. There's ugly and there's cool ugly, and you gotta embrace the ugly and try ugly things if you ever want to find the cool ugly things. I feel like that's something that a lot of cool girl outfits on Pinterest and online have in common, is that they often have one element that is conventionally ugly. And ugly can mean so many different things. Ugly could mean an unexpected or conventionally unflattering fit, or a busy pattern, an ironic ode to a stale trend or criticized counterculture, purposeful kitschiness. All of these things are so fun to play with, but they can be hard to recognize in a thrift store when they're not surrounded by the more conventionally fashionable things that you might already have hanging in your closet. An ugly top hanging next to a bunch of ugly tops might just look ugly, but an ugly top styled with other pieces that you already consider to be cool and fashionable can make the outfit look even more cool and fashionable. The other thing that might be limiting you when you go to the thrift store is that you're looking for the classic vintage brands without considering the rando brands. You're looking for Levi's or Wrangler jeans, or hoping to come across a vintage Prada shoe or a vintage BB tank top. But some of my favorite pieces I've ever thrifted have been from absolutely rogue brands. Like, I have a pant and the tag says trousers, etc. I have a top where the tag says princess in really girly cursive font. I have a pair of pants that is Mary-Kate and Ashley's brand that they probably carried at Target years ago. And if you love a piece, but it kind of just bothers you that the tag says Jessica Simpson or something, you can always seam rip the tag out. Do not discriminate based on brand, especially when you're thrifting. That was my last tip, but I wanted to end by saying a couple brands that I very oftentimes run into at the thrift store. Things that I'll pick up a pile of stuff that I like and I'll notice that I just am intuitively drawn to these brands without even looking for them. Just in case this can be helpful for you if you're thrifting online, I guess. Like I said, when you're in person, I don't think you should look for specific brands. I think you should be open to everything. But just in case it's helpful, I've jotted down a couple brands that I don't necessarily go out and buy new, but I am for some reason drawn to when I go to the thrift. And those are Liz Claiborne, Chico's, Massimo, Nine West, and Moschino. I think Moschino, like vintage Moschino, is getting really trendy now, but maybe if you thrift online, those would be good ones to look up. Just in case it's helpful, I thought I would read that list. If you liked this video, you found it helpful at all, please give it a like and comment any other tips that you have to add. That way we can go through, treat it like a Reddit thread, and just chat about thrifting and our little thrift tips. Also, if there was any one point that you want me to expand on and make its own video, let me know that too. Any and all thoughts in the comments, and I'll see you guys in a few days with another one. Bye guys.